We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.
Sprint Ride Option Podcast.
Oh my goodness. We are live. Hey, guess what? We are live. It is a new episode of the Sprint Ride Option Podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by Mr. Jason Aponte. And Jason, this is going to be a positive vibes only podcast today. That's all this is going to be. I don't know. I'm sure the comments are going to find negatives in yesterday. I don't want to look at the negatives. I want this to be a fun episode because nothing bad can be said from my standpoint. I don't know about you, Jason, and we're going to spend the next 45 or so minutes discussing it. But how are you doing on this lovely Monday, 3 days removed from seeing Spider-Man?
Amazing. And, man, what a trap game. You got to watch it. You got to watch out for those Atlanta Falcons, man.
They're so good.
Remember 2019, man? Oh, my goodness. Remember? Man, you got to watch out, man. You can't take them lightly, man. Before we get into all this, let's go through the spiel. If you're here, make sure you like this video. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. A lot of content this week. You and I have to figure out how we're going to do the Tennessee preview, then the Tennessee post game. So you are going to get a triple dose in probably 4 days of Sprint Right Option Podcast. So
I hope Jason doesn't get tired of talking to me because I know.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about right now. We're talking about a 49ers team that is a playoff team that is 2 games over 500, have won 6 of their last 8, and completely eviscerated an inferior opponent.
Yeah.
And that should make you feel good. Look, I'm not trying to make fun of people who, remember this and, you should take them. The Atlanta Falcons are not a good team. And again, when I talked about, I don't know how they won 6 games. I legit still don't know how they won 6 games. And I legit was not afraid of any matchup on this field. And obviously people can point to negatives, but did anybody see Grady Jarrett? Did he suit up?
No, he did, but I didn't notice him.
I mean, people told me that you needed to be worried about him.
He was going to beat us.
AJ Terrell got his mouthpiece busted. It's just, look, I understand that everybody's a little shell-shocked about how that Arizona game went, and that's fair, right? Because we had similar sentiments going into that game of, I don't know how the 49ers lose this game. I don't know how the Arizona Cardinals can find a way to win this game, and yet there we are. But when I looked at this one, I felt that this 49ers team was in a different place than that 49ers team, not only health-wise, but just with the way that they were playing football. And a lot of that has to do with the quarterback, who is actually playing very well.
Pretty well, yeah.
All right, so that's the thing that was a little bit different. So when you looked at the matchups, there was nothing on the Atlanta side of the ball that ever had me any sort of worry, even when that game started the way that it did. Let's get the negatives out of the way right now.
Do we just want to start negative? Let's get negatives out of the way, and let's just be positive for an hour.
Let's do it. Yeah, Jermichael Hasty fumbles, right? And then you're like, man, here they go, self-imploding. I saw people on Twitter, well, it's going to be one of those games. We're going to grind it out.
Yes.
Goal line stop. Shout out to Kwaski Tart.
Armstead, too.
Armstead as well. Big Fred Warner game in this game.
Fred Warner, too.
And that should have let you know where that game was going. Defense is playing too well right now for me to be worried about Atlanta and their weapons. So, yeah, that happens, right? That's out of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, on that first drive, it really felt like the 49ers were just trying to get out of the shadow of the end zone, just trying to move the ball just a little bit further out. That's it. Was that a Justin Jefferson touchdown? Sure was. Wow, is he good at football. And after that, the punt goes 39 yards. Andrew, what was the EPA on Mitch Wisnowski's 39-yarder?
I still don't know what EPA stands for. So
efficiency per who cares?
I'm gonna try and find out. Keep talking.
I mean, well, all right. So that's it. After that, that's it. That is it. And then the only other negative would be the referees, right? Obviously, the one touchdown that this team was able to score came on the back of 2 penalties on Arden Key. The first one, very valid. The second one, not valid at all. Yeah. You robbed Arden Key of a sack, and then it led to a Russell Gage touchdown. But after that, what else could you be upset about in this game?
Nothing. Robbie Gould made his field goals. I mean, if we really want to nitpick, like, we could talk about Ambry Thomas, but to me, Kyle Pitts is just really good. And same thing with I mean, Russell Gage had 2 amazing Moss receptions over Ambry Thomas.
Yeah, I didn't know that Russell Gage was Julio Jones.
It did. It's apparently they should have used him a little bit more. But then at the same time, man, like, I understand people saying, hey, and this is me leaning a little more into the negative, Jason. It's people saying, hey, he's learning, he's getting these reps, he's going to be better because of it. That's what you say about a team like the Detroit Lions. Shout out, got a W yesterday. Huge win, Woo. Don Burr. How you doing?
And we're gonna talk about the other teams in the NFC because I got some stuff to say because a little bit of what I've been preaching. Yeah.
We'll get to that in our where the Niners are in the playoff race. I think that's a perfect place to talk about that. You know, that's a thing that we should say about a team like the Lions, a team like another bad team, you know, teams like that, where you're talking about, get the rookies out there. The Niners are not in a position to say that right now because they're in a point where they need to win. They're probably going to make the playoffs. So, and I get the cornerback depth is what it is. Hopefully Mosley can be back for playoffs whenever he's coming back. If he even comes back, because I think he's on IR.
Earliest they're saying is week 18.
So there you go, week 18. So this is a team that really needs that cornerback spot shore up. I know we all have our opinions on Josh Norman. He hasn't been an issue for the past couple of weeks. And, you know, a lot of what football is what have you done the past couple of weeks? Norman's been fine the past couple of weeks. So if we really want to nitpick, sure, we can complain about Ambry Thomas. He's a rookie out there learning on the fly. It's a tough position for him to be in. Should he be on the field right now? Maybe not, because the Niners need to win games. It's not a try rookies out, because if it was a try rookie out thing, we would see Trey Lance, which, by the way, I didn't hit my over half a snap for him because they didn't kneel the ball out, unfortunately. Nice. So I guess that's my
in position for it, though.
We were in position for it. If they got the first down at the end, we were in position for it. But yeah, I mean, that's really all the negative I have. And Jason, just so you know, I Googled EPA meaning, and it stands for U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. So I guess they do football now.
There's a Simpsons reference in there, too, from the Simpsons movie. EPA! There we
expected
go.
Points added is the football.
Of course.
But so hey, man, did we get the negatives out? Do we have any last negatives before we actually, like, really talk about it?
Yes, one more thing.
One more negative.
The refs, stop doing that to Arden Key, and please, can you watch when Nick Bosa is in a headlock? Now I'm going to complain. I have been telling 49er fans to stop complaining about that, but at this point now, what the hell is happening? The man's in a headlock.
It's not ideal. It's kind of, I guess, related. It's like Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry doesn't get those calls. You'd think he'd be good enough to get those calls. But for whatever reason with Nick Bosa, they still have this, like, he's too young to get those calls thing, because, you know, you got to earn the respect of those calls. You know how Brady gets
it only took him to be the greatest three-point shooter in the history of the game. But he still doesn't
even get those calls. It's insane. Anyways, this isn't a Warriors podcast. If we're talking about other sports, we can talk about how Wolves and Chelsea drew on Saturday or Sunday. But we won't. Are you ready to talk positives? Are we ready to talk positives?
Oh, man, this is going to be a lot of fun because there's a lot of positives here. Go for it.
Where do you want to start? We could go positions, whatever. What do you want to start?
I want to start boring.
Start boring?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start boring.
D'Amico Ryans. Can you put some respect on this man's name?
Claps in the chat.
Every single one of you. Not everybody that's watching this, but anybody who will watch this.
The collective
that had a problem with a rookie DC and how he was calling games with this personnel, with those cornerbacks. What do you have to say now? I'm sorry. That man is doing a fantastic job. And maybe, you know, I need to tell myself this a little bit too much. You know, I kind of jumped the gun and overreacted a little bit, especially when I called the season over. But maybe a lot of you jumped the gun when it came to D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues with that.
This podcast likes to jump the gun, so it's okay.
Yeah. Jump the shark, jump the gun, whatever it is. But no,
Whatever
seriously, what DeMeco Ryans is able to do right now in terms of game planning against different teams. Okay. Last week, better receivers, able to game plan against it. And obviously, you can only game plan for so long before those guys start to win because those guys are better on the other side, right? There's only so many things you can do. But this week, thorough domination, understanding that team on the other side has nothing for you, even with your cornerback situation where it's at. I mean, it just speaks volumes. Again, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it every week on here. DeMeco Ryans is further along in his first year than Robert Saleh ever was. And right now, DeMeco Ryans, the way that he's going, he's only going to be your defensive coordinator for another year after this before someone else snatches him up as a head coach. That's it. And I just feel that everybody needs to give him credit. And right now, what he's doing is far exceeding anything that I could have thought. This is a top 10 defense. And right now, the second best pass rusher on this team is a situational pass rusher named Arden Key. And just he's incredible, man. He's just doing his thing, and I'm just very happy for him. Andrew just left real quick. He'll probably jump back in. But realistically, what I want is I just want more respect for what he's doing given the personnel, right? Emory Thomas is playing because every single other cornerback is out. And he's doing what he can to do that. So, let me move him out. All right. You back?
I think I'm good. I don't know what happened there. Can you all hear me? I had no idea what happened. Jason just went really slow. I assumed it was him, but it was me. Hello. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello. I have no idea what you were just talking about, but I just wanted you to know I agree with literally everything you said. Great. I couldn't have said it any better myself. For the people not paying attention at home, what did you just say?
Well, basically what I said is that, considering all the personnels, all of those things, all the personnel decisions, everything that's out there, 5th and 6th cornerbacks, what he's doing week to week, basically just everything that we've been saying. So go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, DeMeco Ryans, 10 out of 10. I mean, as we said last week, it's kind of fair to compare his first season to Robert Saleh's because of the amount of injuries on this defense, man. I mean, Jason said it, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th cornerbacks right now. And this defense is shutting teams down. And I mean, you look at the past few weeks in terms of points allowed, 13 points to Atlanta. You allow 23 points to a Bengals team that only had 10 through the first half. 30 to the Seahawks. I know there's a bunch of turnovers there. The defense really feels like it's hitting its stride. It really feels like it's hitting its stride. Score more points than the opponent. SMPTO. That's an analytic metric that I use. I love it. But like even little things I've noticed, and I don't know if the numbers agree with me saying it, Jason, but it feels like there's definitely more blitzes than last year, than previous years.
So, I mean, I think that the blitz percentage shouldn't be taken into account. I think what I'm more impressed with DeMeco is when he calls them, and I think that's more important.
And that might be why I'm feeling like it's different. And they could be calling less blitzes than last year, but something about it feels different because it feels like anytime we see this defense blitz, they're hitting. And it really helps that you have guys in the secondary like K'Wan Williams, like Jaquaski Tart, like Talanoa Hufanga, who can play up at the line and be very good at creating pressure out of the secondary. And it just feels like every time Ryans calls one of those blitzes from the secondary, they hit every time. So things like that, like this defense feels different with the same parts, and it feels like it's being successful for different reasons. And it might help that, you're getting a Nick Bosa type player, getting that production, and then getting production from guys like Arden Key and Samson Ebukam, who's here or there. And
game though this week.
He did. So like you're getting protection from those guys, and Eric Armstead is still being very good, especially in the run game. Things like that, man. And it just feels like the perfect storm for good defense. And I don't know a lot of it has to do with what Ryans is doing. This is a tough situation to be put in, where Josh Norman and Ambry Thomas are your two corners in the year 2021. That's not an easy situation. And a team that has a guy like Kyle Pitts and a team who has a guy like Russell Gage, who apparently was Randy Moss yesterday, it's not going to be easy to stop, but the 49ers defense did it. And I think I saw somebody tweet the Niners had like 30 pressures yesterday. And that helps. That helps. It's just insane how good this defense is with how much they're missing.
Yeah. And I just want to make sure that it's out there because everything should be viewed under the lens of a first-year DC. That's it. And that's the way you should be looking at it. And in the same lane that I am giving him all of this praise is the reason that you should be excited because I don't remember a first-year DC. Maybe somebody else can come along and in the comments let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. To be this effective. And I think that he's been amazing, man. Whatever. Arizona game aside, everybody wants to throw that out there. That's fine. Everybody wants to look at the Green Bay game at the end of that. But I think that right now, what you're looking at is a guy who is evolving, getting better. And that's the one thing that I kept saying about Robert Saleh. I remember a lot of you guys wanted Robert Saleh out of here very early. Robert Saleh is a coach that got better. And that's all you can ask of your coaches. So I just wanted to make sure that we got a chance. Yeah, Andrew, you're All right. So it's me, right? Andrew will be back. But I just want to make sure that we're viewing DeMeco Ryans in the proper way. And I want to make sure that DeMeco Ryans gets the credit that he deserves, especially considering this is a game without Azeez Al-Shaair and your cornerbacks, right? And he's trying to manufacture pressure from guys who have not been successful other places, right? Samson Ebukam was supposed to be a portion of, hey, maybe we can get you to fill this D forward role just in case. Arden Key was somebody who had the physical traits. Shout out Chris Kusurik also, by the way, that was able to develop him. And right now, what they're getting out of him is exactly what you would want to get from him, especially when you look at what was invested in Arden Key. I think that's what makes it all the more impressive. I really believe. So we got Andrew back in here. You all right, buddy?
I'm hardwired now, so I should be good. I don't know why my wife is backing up. Hello.
So let's move from one coach to the other coach. The head coach.
The head coach. I know him.
Yeah, you go for it. You start this one.
Only Shans, man. I mean, the offense was hitting yesterday. What were they called? I can't remember what they're called. Drift routes. Those were open all day. Kyle Shanahan. I mean, it's really. And I guess part of the reason things were open, and I'll say this name because I really want to say it today, is Jeff Wilson Jr. He had his best game since returning. It makes things a lot easier on Kyle Shanahan when this running game is going. But there was just so much open all game, and that's a large reason why we saw Jimmy Garoppolo be as good as he was yesterday. Garoppolo, Jason, I'm going to say it. No, oh, no throws yesterday.
None.
Not a single oh no throw. And that's because Kyle was calling guys open, and he was just so good. George Kittle, he only had 6 receptions for 93 yards. So you want to see a little more production out. No, I'm joking. That's sarcastic because George Kittle was phenomenal. We got another one of those Photoshop plays out of him where it took 19 Falcons players to take him down, things like that. Deebo Samuel, he did his things. I mean, he was pretty consistent as a runner yesterday. But also very good as a receiver. When Juwan Jennings is getting 6 targets, that's how you know Shanahan's feeling it because he was getting him really involved yesterday. I just think yesterday was probably the best called game by Kyle Shanahan all season.
It was up there. I mean, everything that he was calling was working, and it helps when your quarterback is playing very well. But here's the bag. Kyle was in it, and that's what we're going with right now. In the bag, cooking, Kyle Shanahan. And all right, now let's get into a bigger rant. I specifically remember a lot of people, you got to get rid of Kyle.
Yeah, we got to get rid of him.
This team's not going in the right direction. Oh, you got to get rid of him, man. They're not going to – he's fumbling the bag with this. Damn. Must not feel good right now. The 49ers
feels not great, baby.
Feels terrible, baby. 6 out of 8. The 6 out of the last 8. 8-6 49ers on their way probably to being another winning season.
11-6, very much on the table in my opinion.
Yeah. Look, you can criticize. That's perfectly fine. We criticized.
We did.
And that's perfectly fine. Never once did the Sprint Right Option podcast ever once tell you that they wanted Kyle Shanahan fired? Nope. And let's give the L to myself, right? Yes. I didn't like the way he handled Brandon Ayuk's situation. Brandon Ayuk came out the other end of it better.
A lot better.
Again, that's why I'm a guy with Batman stuff behind him who talks about the 49ers. And there's another guy who's paid to coach the 49ers. So we are, when Kyle gets back in the bag, when the team starts winning, guys get quiet real quick about how they wanted Kyle gone. Kyle's not the coach. Oh, wait. I don't know if Kyle's going to be able to develop Trey Lance, man. I don't trust. I'm going to sit here and say, let's chill out and let's trust the process right now because, look, even if you didn't envision 8-6, right? Let's just say that, right? And you and somebody would have told you 14 games in, this 49er team would have been 8-6, especially when I in the offseason was like, hey, man, 12-5, right? Yeah. 11-6. That's where I thought this team would be. I would be disappointed as well. But when you look at it and you contextualize it with the way that this team started, and they were 2-4 to be
and not looking good.
Yeah, not at all. To be 8-6 now, come on, man. There should be no doubt at this point anymore. So I wanted to start with the coaches because we know the players are ballers, and I can't wait to talk about the players. Like I really can't wait to talk about them. But this doesn't feel like a victory lap. It more feels like everyone needs to chill out. Chill out a little bit. Just chill out a little bit. And again, criticism is valid. Criticism is always warranted in certain spots. Fire Kyle? Never. That was never on the table.
You know what I'm really looking forward to? Is the day Kyle Shanahan finally hits the Deebo double pass. Because I feel like he's called it 3 of the last 5 games. And one day it's gonna hit. Keep going, Kyle. I believe in it. Because when it happens, I get really excited. And it's gonna hit one day, and we're gonna see the most amount of them. They're gonna win a Super Bowl with it. Bet. We won't say it until the Super Bowl. Kyle's gonna pull it out. Deebo's gonna hit Jawan Jennings on a 65-yard touchdown because of it. And we'll come back to this podcast when I nail it. I'm from the future. I'm waiting for it to hit, Jason.
Well, let me just say this. If the play hits, I love it. If the play hits, it's the worst play call. If the play doesn't hit, it's the worst play call I've ever seen in my life. When he threw it into the back of A.J. Terrell, I was like, what the hell are you doing? And then when I watched it again on the film, I was like, oh, shit, he's open. And he all he had to do was float it. Honestly, Kyle doesn't trust Deebo.
Kyle doesn't trust Deebo enough.
Kyle doesn't trust Deebo.
I'm tired of this one read. Crossers are too safe, man.
I'm tired of these one read wide receivers who can't hit
let
other
Deebo
guys.
Cook.
Yeah, I can't. I'm tired of Kyle limiting Deebo to being a one read guy and not allowing him to go through his progressions at that point. I think at this point it's fair to say, is Kyle developing Deebo Samuel as a quarterback? And I have doubts. I have doubts, man. I really have doubts.
We're finally seeing the plays he drew up for Terry McLaurin when he was talking to Deebo. Got him. Wait, no, I said that backwards.
You really know how to hurt me.
We're finally seeing the plays he drew up for Deebo while he was talking to McLaurin.
This is the best comment. This is the best comment so far.
Got him. Hire Urban Meyer. Keep him away from my favorite football team. Send him to my favorite college team. Got him. Are you ready to talk about the individual players? Because we're going to be here for about 45 minutes talking about the players because there's a lot of good to be said.
You started off. This is on you now.
You know what? Let's start it off with our friend of the pod, Jaquaski Tart. We're going to say that whenever we get it. What a game. What a game. He had 2 or 3, I think 3 touchdown saving plays off the top of my head. I mean, we saw how hard it is to cover Kyle Pitts. We saw how hard it is. Ambry Thomas, he was on him. It's a tough job. Tart on that first drive. And I guess with Tart, we'll start with the conversation about the first offensive stand because just 3 consecutive phenomenal plays. Fred Warner in coverage. Eric Armstead. I posted the all-22. I was so excited about that play. I posted it the second I found it. Just watching Eric Armstead on that play, stopping the run, and then Tart in coverage on Pitts. I mean, that's a tough play. That's a tough play to make.
One-on-one. Your strong safety. One-on-one with
One-on-one.
the greatest tight end prospect to ever come out in any draft ever.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and so for the game to start on that, because that's a hard drive for the defense, because you get the ball to start the game. The last thing that's on the defense's mind is after the kickoff, we're going out on the field, and they had to instantly change their mind frame.
And there was a touchdown that was called back.
Yes. So I guess we're starting. I guess I'm starting my Tart spiel on for the defense, but then Tart. I mean, that tackle, man, on Matt Ryan just stood him up. Like, this podcast has been talking about Jaquaski Tart, so he needs to be recognized more in terms of national media. Like, this is a player that when he hits the open market, he deserves a bag. And if he hits the open market, I'm still hoping the Niners bring him back, because as fun as Talanoa Hufanga is, he's not what Jaquaski Tart is. Jaquaski Tart is a guy that you need to bring in. You need to keep him, because he is a huge part of this defense. Him and Jimmy Ward. I mean, it's something that I tried to get Jaquaski to say on the pod, or Tart to say on the pod. I'm not on a first name basis with him. Something I tried to get Tart to say, hey, are you and Jimmy Ward the best safety duo in the NFL? And he played it right. He wasn't giving me the soundbite I was looking for, but I'll say it. They're the best safety duo in the NFL. And even Jimmy Ward had a first down saving play, a 4th and 1 on that pitch play. Like, Nick Bosa's fantastic. Fred Warner's fantastic. We are a pro Aziz Al-Shair podcast. This defense is nowhere near as good as it is without Jaquaski Tart and Jimmy Ward. You see how I made my Jaquaski Tart thing about the whole defense? But I think if Tart leaves at the end of this season, that one would hurt me the most personally. I know I'm getting a little sentimental, but Jaquaski Tart, man, deserves all the credit in the world. I'm going to have a lot more words to say about him later in the show. Hint, hint. So Jason, I'll start with Tart. There you go.
It's a bittersweet moment for myself because it felt like this game was where a lot of the 49er fan base said, oh, wow, look at what he can do. But it shouldn't have taken you this long. It really shouldn't have. And another thing that kind of makes me feel a little bad about this is Hufanga got injured in this game. And that put Tart on the field. And I never agreed with the whole take Tart off the field for Hufanga. Again, I'm not the coach. I'm not. I know that Tart can do both. I know that he can. He can play close at the line and he can play in coverage.
Yeah,
I know
we've seen it.
We have. And if you want to put Hufanga on the field, fine. Cool. Up to you. Completely up to you, buddy. But it's a bittersweet moment for me. It shouldn't have taken this game for people to say, oh, wow, Tart's underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, maybe we should keep that guy. It shouldn't have taken this.
Yep.
But at the same time, I am very excited at the fact that now many people have come around to the idea and have started to understand his impact. And I started to understand what he brings to the defense week to week, especially considering going into this Thursday game, he may be the only strong safety that is available right away that you immediately trust, because Hufanga may not play. I mean, I look good for Hufanga. Apparently this came out and it's not as bad as anybody thinks. That's fine. Tart finished the game on the ankle. He should be fine. I think he's going to be good to go. But it's bittersweet for me because it shouldn't have taken this. It really shouldn't have. But I hope that you understand now what he really brings to this defense. And the chemistry between him and Jimmy Ward is something that cannot be understated, underestimated, right? These guys have literally been playing together for 10 plus years in different levels of football. And we had Tart on the show and we showed him film. And we didn't tell him we were going to do that. We just sprung it on him. And we showed him and he's like, man, first of all, this is the personnel. This is the logo. This is what they're doing. This is like, he is one of the smartest guys on this defense in terms of understanding what teams want to do.
Yep.
The only knock that you could ever have on Tart is injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't argue on that.
No.
But other than that, in 2019, when he was on the field, this team gave up something like 12 explosive plays in the 12 games that he was in. The 4 games that he missed, they gave up about 15, 16 explosive plays. Again, everybody screams, I want a playmaker. I want a guy who intercepts the ball. You can't make plays on the ball when they don't throw the ball that way. There's nothing you can do about it. I am happy for him. I am happy that people are starting to come around to it. And I hope that he comes back. But it seems like the team is already preparing itself for life without him, unfortunately. Yeah. And I disagree with that right now. Mm-hmm. But again, I am a guy in front of Batman stuff.
Yeah.
And they are the organization. So let them do what they want to do. Or not let them. They're going to do what they're going to do. And that's it. But I am happy for him, man. And this is how you know PFF is garbage.
Oh.
The two lowest rated defenders on the 49ers this week were Arden Key and Jaquiski Tartt. How on earth does any of that make any sense? If anyone with 2 eyes watched that game, if you can come away with that game knowing that Ambry Thomas played in that game and there were plenty of other people who made mistakes in that game, knowing that those were the 2 that were the lowest graded, let you go to stop with the PFF grades. Like, please just stop, please.
It's
please
a starting point, but it's not end all be all. And great transition there, Jason, because that was the other name I wanted to mention. If we're done with Tartt,
yep, we are,
and we know Kyle Shanahan's watching. Kyle, we love you. Mwah. Please think hard about bringing him back, because the defense loves him and I love him, and just cater to me, really. Arden Key. We have an award show, planned tentatively. We did it last year. And I'm going to create a fake award that I'm going to give Arden Key. He is the Kerry Hyder Memorial Player of the Year this year, because he's the guy who you didn't know what to expect from him. He had a few good years in Oakland, a few okay years in Oakland. We didn't know what he was. And he's kind of turned into, not to knock on another player on this team, but he's turned into what we expected Samson Ebukam to be, right? Is to be that secondary edge rusher. And I know it's a little easier with it's tougher because D Ford isn't playing right now. But Arden Key, he's the guy that nobody really talked about coming into this season. I mean, when we talked about, the line on our position previews, we talked about Bosa and Ford and Ebukam, and then it was kind of by the way, they brought in Arden Key, and we kind of went back. We kept talking about what we're talking about. He's been nothing short of phenomenal this season. I mean, he's another sack, should be 2. I hate the call. Everybody hates the call.
Call was terrible.
Terrible call, terrible rule. I don't know what they're supposed to do when they're falling on him, whatever.
Andrew, he's supposed to rock him to sleep, sing him a lullaby, put him on a pillow, and put him down. How dare you disrespect what the NFL officiating has laid out there?
I mean, listen, if that's, as I tweeted it, man, if that's a roughing the passer, we just need to go 2-hand touch on quarterbacks, because I don't know what they're supposed to do. Just grab his flag and call it a day. But yeah, Arden Key, he's I'm not going to say come out of nowhere, but he's definitely one of those. We didn't expect to be talking about him this much this season, and yet here we are, week 15, talking about Arden Key being a key contributor to a playoff team.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you would have told me a few, weeks ago that Arden Key would be the second best pass rusher on this team, I would say that's a problem. Mm-hmm. That's a problem, right? Yeah. He was supposed to be in addition to other things. But when you contextualize it with the film and what he's been doing, I mean, right now he has more sacks in one season than he had in his entire time as a Oakland, Las Vegas Raider. But it's more a testament, again, to Chris Kosurik, this organization. They always bet on traits, and they always bet on things that they can enhance. I almost use the word exploit, because exploit's not the right word. Enhance is the right word. And you have to give them credit. You do right now. Again, I don't care who the opponent is for you to get what you've gotten from, I believe it was week 9 through 11. He had a sack in each game.
Mm-hmm.
And he had half a sack, and then he had one. He should have had 2 this week. It's starting to feel like he is grasping right now his role and the scheme and what he's asked to do week to week. So it's such a find in the way that Kerry Hyder was a find last year, and where we were very pro Kerry Hyder last year.
We love Kerry Hyder.
Unfortunately, Kerry Hyder's a ghost in Seattle right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with supporting cast, who's coaching him up. But you have to give this organization, regime, coaching staff credit when they're able to bet on traits and then enhance them and get the best out of them. And right now, as a situational pass rusher, he's doing great. And it allows other guys to stay where they are without putting them in bad spots. Meaning, Eric Armstead doesn't belong on the outside. He's a run stuffer. Keep him on the inside. If you're able to run stunts with Arden Key, get him unlocked and get Key unlocked. Didn't mean to do that. But if you're able to, no, I didn't. I promise I didn't. And if you're able to get him in advantageous spots, then that's really what you need to do. Contract be damned. Put your players in the best place that they can be to succeed. And right now, this defense feels like it's hitting its stride at the perfect time. There's only 3 more games left this season. And then you get right back into the saddle for the postseason. The 49ers are not getting a first round bye. Spoiler alert. In the same way that at the end of No Way Home, Spider-Man gets put on the COVID reserve list at the end of the movie. Oh, was I not supposed to give that spoiler away?
Oh, it's okay.
That's a spoiler as well, too. But the 49ers will be probably on the road. But you know what travels on the road? Pass rush, running game, physicality. And right now, the 49ers are turning themselves into a team that nobody in the NFC wants to see at this point. I got a little spiel. Like, we're 37 minutes in. We still haven't really gotten to everybody else right now.
I know, right?
It feels like we're going to go an hour in this one because I got some stuff to say about the NFC teams around.
This is a feel-good episode, and there was a lot of good things to say. I mean, the points you make on Key are absolutely right. And Jason, you have a very good memory. Weeks 9 through 11, 1 sack, 1 sack, 1 sack. Week 12, no sacks. And then he goes half a sack, 1 sack. Yeah, so he should have been 2. He's the Kerry Hyder of this team this year, man. And he's been nothing short of phenomenal. They've needed him, and he's performed the past couple of weeks. Jason, let's run through a couple quick names on the defense that deserve some love. Because as I said, if we're going to spend 5 minutes on all these players that did good yesterday, we're going to be here a while. Nick Bosa, I wish we could talk about him a little bit longer. It's just, what can we say about him that hasn't been said?
Oh, I can say a lot of things about him that hasn't been said.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was foolish for telling you that there was no way that he could be comeback player of the year. And I understand Dak Prescott's ankle was on the other side of his shin. And I get that. That's a lasting image on a lot of people's minds right now. But Dallas is scuffling. No, I don't care if they win games. They're scuffling right now. Mm-hmm. Nick Bosa, week after week, is getting better, more double-teamed, and doesn't get any of the calls. How is he not right now at the forefront of this discussion? If he loses it, fine. I won't lose sleep over it. But there is no way that you can tell me that it's automatically Dak Prescott at this point. I get it. Injury, quarterback, guy who has to do more things.
America's team.
America's team, whatever. His ankle was on the other side of his shin. I get it. And I feel for the guy. I completely feel for him. But come on, man. At this point, Nick Bosa gets no calls, gets double teamed the most, and is playing better football than I can remember in 2019 somehow, and has still not unlocked that other portion of it because he's still growing from the ACL injury. I don't know what cloth, what planet, what species Nick Bosa is from right now. I really don't. And I maybe that's hyperbole, but it's just I don't understand how you can be this good and still not be at your. He's not in his final form. For my Dragon Ball, whatever it is, people,
He's
my
not
anime
over
people.
3,000 or whatever.
And it's crazy, man.
9,000.
I understand he's not going to get it. I get it. But how, if this voting comes out and Nick Bosa gets like one vote or something like that, and he's not in the top 3, I'm going to be furious. I get it. Quarterbacks will get all the love. Quarterback's going to win MVP. That's why Deebo won't win it. We're going to get to Deebo.
Wait a second. I just had a thought. What if...
Go.
I'm going to save that thought. Go ahead.
Okay. But you need to discuss him that way. You need to discuss Deebo Samuel, comeback player of the year, defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. Defensive player. Now we're going to get spicy now. Because there was a lot of weeks where I was like, man, Myles Garrett, man, you're tripping. TJ Watt, man, you're tripping. Micah Parsons. I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Jared.
No, stop it. I don't know, man. It's just, again, it is really, really hard to not put him in that discussion right now. Yeah. And what Nick Bosa is doing. The 49ers fans are so blessed right now. You are watching the best left tackle in football. You are watching the best tight end in football. You are watching the best edge rusher in football. Now let's get spicy. Let's get spicy.
And the best forced fumble artist, don't forget.
No, the best fullback in football. You are spoiled. You are spoiled right now. But Nick Bosa, man, stop playing with Nick Bosa, man. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
Maybe the reason he doesn't win comeback is because they just voted for him on Depoy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Jason, let's go to Deebo Samuel. For Fred, I want to touch on Fred Warner real quick. He had a very good game yesterday. It's good to see him return to the form we kind of expect him from. As I said at the start of this, when we were going through the players, that play at the goal line, that coverage play on Smith on the second down, that's a phenomenal play, man. That's a touchdown saving play. Good coverage. Didn't bite on the play action whatsoever. But we saw good Fred Warner yesterday. Great Fred Warner yesterday.
That was the Fred Warner game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's a little bit because, all right, how do I say this without coming off as negative while heaping praise? Azeez Al-Shaair has been the best linebacker on the 49ers this season.
Yeah.
And Azeez is not there. So Fred had to do a little bit more. And this was the Fred Warner game. Fred was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime that, this is how you know, this is what Willis did, Bowman did, Fred did for a large portion. When the pile lifts up, who's the guy on the bottom of the pile? Fred. Mm-hmm. Fred was everywhere in this game, man. And I'm happy for him. And again, when I say things like Azeez has outplayed Fred this year, because I believe he has, people take that as a negative.
No, it shouldn't
I take that as a positive.
Yeah.
Because imagine having two great linebackers, right? Azeez Al-Shaair right now is playing at a level that no one could have foreseen. Even me, even out of camp, I didn't think he was going to be this. And I would have never have ever said, hey, he's going to outplay Fred Warner this year. But he has. And Fred is still Fred at this point. Fred hasn't lost a step. There's been none of that. So it's a great situation for the 49ers. But Fred was incredible in this game, man. Just imagine having a fallback plan. And this kind of goes to the offense too, right? When Deebo Samuel is your number one guy, let's fall back and throw the ball to the best tight end in football. And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Azeez Al-Shaair leaves. Let's just fall back and fall on a top 2 linebacker in the game. Imagine having these problems. Imagine having these problems as a team anywhere. Problems.
And I don't think it's coincidence. I mean, you made the point of, he has his best game without Azeez. It's kind of interesting because Azeez had his best game without Fred. So I don't know why I'm on first name basis today. Aziz and Warner,
No, we know them and they watch this. So
yeah, they watch us. Hi, Fred. How you doing?
Okay.
And so like maybe these guys, like it just goes to show something with the defense, man. The next man up thing, knowing they have to take new challenges and all that fun stuff. So it's Fred Warner was back yesterday. It was good to see if we can get both Warner and Al-Shaair clicking in the last few weeks. Is we're getting dangerous to a point, Jason, where we could say, are the Niners peaking at the right time? That might be a conversation we have on Friday or Thursday if the Niners win, and we could talk about it. Jason, before we go to the off, not if. Okay, yeah, well, we'll get the Jason.
We'll get there.
We'll
get there. We'll get there.
Preview podcast to get through before we predict the game on Thursday.
I'm sorry. I'm feeling good. My bad.
Very good.
My bad. I'm a podcaster who wants to be positive about a team that he's covering. Weird. That is a playoff team. Weird. My bad. My bad. We should have spent this whole episode talking about how Mitch Wisnowski can't punt the ball at all. And we should have been spending this whole episode about how Jermichael Hasty fumbled 2 punts. My bad. I forgot my role as a podcaster.
Yes. I don't know where that came from. I feel like I got yelled at.
I've had it like in here.
Yeah. No, we're feeling very positive. And Jason, just to spread that positivity before we get to the offense, if you're new to this channel, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video, try and thumbs down it. You can't because there's no dislike button anymore.
Well, no, there is a dislike button. It just won't show you how many dislikes.
Oh yeah, so don't dislike it.
But here's the beautiful part about that, and this is algorithm talk. That dislike sends it into the algorithm. So do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever you want. Send it to the algorithm. You're here. Welcome. Let's talk about Deebo Samuel. Just because I want to get my point off. The joke I wanted to make when you said quarterbacks only get MVP votes. What if Kyle keeps going to the Deebo double pass to get him a touchdown pass? And then he could say, look, he also plays quarterback. Maybe that's why he keeps going to it. Get him that MVP vote.
Can I get in my negative bag?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Can Kyle develop a quarterback?
One of these days, Deebo's you got to develop him into a two-look guy. Making the same joke we made earlier, second time, so good. Makes the show great. Subscribe. But Deebo does a little bit of everything again. We see it yesterday. 6 carries, 29 yards, a rushing touchdown. I think I saw on pregame yesterday that he's on pace to become the first ever non-running or player listed as a receiver to lead his team in rushing touchdowns since 1970 or the merger or whatever word they say. Thank you, Blind Tom. We appreciate it. But Deebo does that, man. Deebo's that dude, and it's the reason why when I describe him on the timeline, I don't use WR in front of his name. I don't say wide receiver. I use OW, offensive weapon, because he is the offense, man. He's the thing that makes this car go brr. It goes because of Deebo, and we're gonna make that reference a couple times because there's a few guys that make this offense go. But I mean, the change of pace of what Deebo Samuel can offer to this running game is amazing, and it's why he needs MVP votes. As we said, like our Deebo for MVP thing isn't necessarily about wanting him to. Well, we want him to win. It's not about getting him to win, but he won't. We just want Jason and I would consider this whole campaign a win if we see a 1 by his
first place vote. One first place vote. One. Just one.
And if I get a ballot, I promise I will at NFL. I know you're watching too. Hi. So yeah, Deebo Samuel, man. I know it's not statistically his best game, but I just wanted to start with him because just of what he's done for this offense all season.
Sets the tone, man. AJ Terrell, you okay, bro?
Dude.
Are you okay, AJ Terrell? Really, realistically, I don't want to be a jerk, right? Like I don't want to be the guy who's like piling on, but are you okay? Are you okay? Because you've been having a great season. And then imagine having your whole season based on, hey, I'm really good in coverage, and then you have to try and tackle Deebo Samuel, and then he knocks the mouthpiece out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. I don't know if there's a guy besides him and George Kittle that set the tone for what this offense wants to do more. I don't know what else needs to be said. And, man, there's so many positives, man.
Dude,
so
here's why.
We're barely
halfway through them.
Here's why. Did you see Deebo Samuel get lined up as a wide receiver? Way more? Do you know why that happened? Because Jeff Wilson is back.
Jeff Wilson, all the way back. All the
So,
way back, man.
Man, imagine having a weapon that you could say, hey, for a few weeks, we're going to use you as a running back. Hey, if this guy gets going, we'll put you back at wide receiver. Just imagine having that luxury. Deebo Samuel, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's a great transition to Jeff Wilson because I love watching him run, man. And I know the Colts podcast that's in here disagreed with he's the hardest guy to bring down now that Derrick Henry's hurt. And I know Jonathan Taylor's fantastic.
Jonathan Taylor's incredible, man.
Jonathan Taylor's incredible. We love him. Big Jonathan Taylor guys on this podcast. But Jeff Wilson, man, it felt like that FU was in him yesterday a little bit. We saw him run with that aggression yesterday. He was running through tackles. And this is going to be another Tom Compton positive thing because he's so good, man. Like, I haven't dove into the tape too much yet, but just kind of seeing the replays of some of the runs yesterday. He's so quick on the outside shift. Like, it's so impressive how quick he is getting that first tier or that first wave guy down and moving straight to the second level. And I love this offensive line, man. I wish Mike McGlinchey was still there because I think it could only get better. Nothing against Tom Compton because he's been amazing. But Mike McGlinchey, I think, is in another world when it comes to run blocking. But this is the prototypical Kyle Shanahan game, to go back to the Kyle Shanahan reference. You get your running back one to average 4.5 yards a carry. You get Jimmy Garoppolo to throw 5 incomplete passes, no turnovers, no throws. This is the Kyle Shanahan game you want. And we got it yesterday. And yes, I know people are rolling their eyes, Jason, and saying, but it's the Atlanta Falcons. I'm a big believer if you're a good team, you take care of business against the teams you're supposed to take care of business against. And the Niners and the Falcons, that's a team that you have to take care of business of if you're the 49ers. And that's what the Niners did. I know the Falcons aren't good. I know. But the Niners, this wasn't a nail biter. The only time this was a nail biter, to me, man, Jason, I'm going to be honest, this game was over when the Falcons couldn't get the ball into the end zone at the 1 yard line with 13 minutes left in the first quarter. In my opinion, that's where this game ended. They couldn't take advantage of that. And I know obviously it started slow, but the Niners got going. I don't know how I got to this point from Jeff Wilson. I'm here though. And it's nice because the Niners won because of it. But back to Jeff Wilson, man, he was fun to watch yesterday, and I'm happy he's back.
And you kind of saw it happen in Cincinnati, right? And it started to happen a little bit more where he had 4 yards of carry. You'll take it. And against a very good run defense. I think that was kind of your tell as to where Jeff Wilson was headed. But I know that this probably doesn't have anything to do with what happened. But the way he was talking in press conferences, I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, oh, I'm getting back to that dark place. He was talking about other people being in that dark place. And we did our fantasy football show. And anybody who brought up Jeff Wilson in terms of, oh, should I play this person or Jeff Wilson? I was like, you need to start Jeff Wilson this week. I think this is the week. And again, and this is where I'm going to get to your point. Jeff Wilson handled his business. And yes, it's the Atlanta Falcons. But if this team is what you think it is in terms of a playoff team, then you handle business. I don't give a damn about the records, 7-6, 6-7. They were never this close. I don't know how the Atlanta Falcons won 6 games. They're not good. They are not good. And you saw that, right? The score was nowhere indicative in terms of where this team was, in terms of where they are with the 49ers. They're bad.
Yeah.
And you know what good teams do?
Leave
no doubt.
Yeah.
Leave no doubt. And it felt like after that first drive, the Rams, mine's going somewhere else.
St. Louis.
No, the Falcons had no chance of stopping the 49ers. If the 49ers were going to stop themselves on offense, it was because of something that they did on their own. There was never a time where the Falcons could stop the 49ers. None. Cousins is back. Jimmy's playing well. The running game is running well. What are you supposed to do? So don't use this as, well, they beat the Falcons. Good teams eviscerate teams that are not in their league. And damn the records. 7-6, 6-7. This might as well have been a 7-6 against a 2-11 team. And I said that all week. All week. I was not worried about this team. They're not good. They're not good. And good teams leave no doubt. They fumble the ball coming out right after the half. Once the 49ers scored, game's over. Game's over. You don't have enough in the bag. You can't get it done. It's just how it is. I have no idea how Atlanta won 6 games. None. But Jeff Wilson, if Jeff Wilson is able to compile this with more good performances, Elijah Mitchell may return on Thursday. This run offense becomes that much more potent. And it lends itself to what the 49ers do to win games. Him and Elijah Mitchell can pound you into submission if everything's going well and the 49ers are not shooting themselves in the foot, putting themselves in good spots on third down. Jimmy Garoppolo's not turning the ball over. And what wins in December going into January? That. So let's keep going. There's more. There's way more. Keep going, Andrew. We're 55 minutes in. This is the most fun podcast we've had.
I'm here for it, man. I'm gonna say a name I haven't said in a while. I tweeted it yesterday. Is Gucci Garop? Is he back? I felt like he had a little bit of swagger yesterday. He felt I don't know, man. Oh no throws. I know we didn't get the 350 for 3 touchdowns. But I mean, it was one of those games where he didn't really need to do much, but he looked good doing it. I mean, that throw, the first throw that jumps off in my mind is the Ayuk throw, the slant route after the Ayuk.
Very nice.
The Ayuk gets called for a false start. Next play, Ayuk runs a little slant route. And I know, listen, man, I know it's probably, people are going to say, Andrew, it's an easy throw. Like, okay, sure.
It's not an easy throw to put it where he put it.
He put it exactly in the place where he needed it for Ayuk to not break stride.
Wait, Andrew. Jimmy Garoppolo had a good game that we predicted on this podcast.
Had a very good game.
You're such a damn Jimmy hater. I'm tired of you, Andrew. I'm really tired of you, Andrew. And this podcast is such a big Jimmy hater podcast, especially when there's a dead last in pass rush team in front of you, and you can predict that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be fine in this game. I'm tired of you, Andrew. I'm tired of the Jimmy hate. I'm so sick of it, man. I really am, man. I'm tired of it. I might need a new co-host, man, because I can't deal with all this Jimmy Garoppolo hate. Especially when everything to the contrary tells you that he would have a great game this week. Unbelievable, Andrew. I'm tired of you, bro.
Yeah. Unbelievable, Andrew. Come on, do better. But yeah, man, he looked good yesterday, man. What can you say? He obviously, the numbers are about what you expect from him. Did we expect a bigger game out of him? Yeah, but he didn't have any turnovers. I know. And he had the dreaded play, Jason, where the fumble center or the center quarterback little snafu, where people who don't like him, are going to say that's Garoppolo's fault. But things like that happen. It's okay, Jason. But yeah, Garoppolo, I thought he looked real good yesterday. And I mean, if he keeps looking like he did yesterday, the Niners are going to be fine. The Niners are going to be fine and maybe sneak a win in the playoffs. I thought he played totally fine yesterday. Nothing sexy, but nothing bad. And the no mistakes is why they win that game. So
it's funny when we say things like Jimmy Garoppolo is a starter in this league. That is valuable. When he plays well, things happen. That gets lost in the shuffle because I'll take a lot of this blame. After the Seattle game, I was furious because I'm tired of losing to Seattle. But there were a lot of things that went into that Seattle game. So I got to take the L on this one. There were a lot of things that went into that Seattle game that has not much to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't line up wrong on the fake punt. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't fumble the ball on the other side for the defense, when Travis Benjamin did. Jimmy Garoppolo did throw interceptions in that game. And at the end of the game, they had a chance to win the game. So naturally, when the team wins, you get all the praise. When the team loses, you don't get all the praise. But right now, what can you say about this man? Mm-hmm. Seriously, man. And what can you say about what Kyle Shanahan has thought about him this entire time and what he said publicly? Jimmy's our guy. Jimmy gives us the best chance to win. Well, the team's 8-6. The team has a chance to win out. They can finish the season 11-6.
Yep.
How on earth can you even think that that's a problem at this point? And again, people like me, other people who have stronger opinions than I do, because, I just had my opinion and it just went away. But as I started to watch camp when I was there and I started to listen to what they were saying, I knew Jimmy was going to start week 1. So I got off that bandwagon pretty quickly. But Jimmy Garoppolo has been great. And this was a great game. And when you can eviscerate and see, here's the thing about Jimmy. He won how he won last week. And then he comes back and he wins this week. He's winning in different ways. This team is winning in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And this team presents problems in terms of what they can do, how they can win. And I think that's the sign of a very good team, right? Injuries be damned. This 49er team had to deal with George Kittle being out for a long time. Deebo Samuel was injured. And Jimmy Garoppolo was only injured for 1 game. But right now, what can you argue with? You cannot argue with what's going on right now at this point. So it's hard for me to take the Jimmy Garoppolo slander serious when the team's winning games. And if you want to nitpick a throw here and there, kind of showing your true colors at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's obvious that right now he is playing at a level that is putting the team in a position to win. The defense is playing well enough to put him in a position to win. And I think that what's lost upon a lot of fans is every quarterback needs that. Here's what I'm going to say about it. When Aaron Rodgers gets bounced because he's clearly the superior quarterback, everybody says, man, his receivers let him down. Man, his defense was bad. He didn't get it done for him. When Brady has a bad season, man, he didn't really have talent around him. Man, the defense didn't hold up enough. When other quarterbacks have down seasons, when Drew Brees doesn't win, he's won 1 Super Bowl. When he doesn't win, man, his defense didn't hold up. Man, a call went against him. Right? I get they have bigger track records, but everybody always makes excuses for other guys. Can I just be here, the guy to tell you that every quarterback needs defense, receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They need coaching. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that. That's it. And maybe Jimmy needs it a little bit more. That's fine to say that. But don't act like Aaron Rodgers is out here winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl just because he's great, right? He just lost the NFC Championship last year to Tom Brady. And everyone said, well, Rodgers' defense let him down. They didn't go for it on 4th. His coach let him down. Come on, man. Come on. Everybody needs something. So, there. That's my Jimmy Garoppolo spiel. Damn, an hour and 3 minutes. We're going to be out here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, probably. And I love it, dude. I mean, there was a lot to talk about. It's hard to kind of be quick about all of it. I guess we'll go Kittle. I mean, just kind of a game we expected out of Kittle. And probably the last player we'll highlight before we get into 3 stars. 6 receptions, 93 yards. I mean, he's at the Bosa point, man, where it's like, what new things can we say about him? How good is he? He's the best tight end in the league. We're back on that. I'm back on that. I mean, there's something that needs to be said, and I know a lot of people have said it already, but that the one play where it takes 7 Falcon players to take him down, man, and he is in a swarm of white uniforms, no way out, and he's still in there, moving his feet, looking for that path out, and every time he does it, man, it's one of those things like, okay, this play's over, but there's always a split second where you're like, okay, maybe he's going to get through this, and he doesn't give up until he is down, and it's something it's so fun to watch. It's those things, man, when you're at home and it takes 7 players to tackle you, that's one of those little things that gets the crowd going again, man. It's things like that he does. Him running through the tackles, all that fun stuff. And it just feels like everything's clicking for him. Him getting the ball again, him breaking tackle. He's guaranteed to break a tackle every time he touches the ball. It just is what it is. And he's one of those guys that like I don't care if he only catches balls 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, man. He's going to make them 10, 15, 20, maybe take it to the house yard plays. So I mean, I guess I just spent a minute repeating everything we knew about George Kittle, but George Kittle, he's so damn good, man. And this offense, just like Deebo Samuel, it needs him to work. And he has been nothing short of phenomenal.
George Kittle has missed how many games this season? He's been on the IR for at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense for a large portion of, well, not a large portion, but a portion of his season wasn't clicking. He is 150 yards away in 3 games from a 1,000-yard season. Here's something else that I want to give you guys. And this is something I tweeted, but I botched it, so I'm going to say it correctly on here.
Botches it.
Botched it. Oh, he botched it. That's MLB The Show.
He
botched it.
Matt Vasgersian on the show. MLB The Show reference. Let's go.
Yep. Per NFL Communications, George Kittle has 4,429 receiving yards since entering the league in 2017 and passed Rob Gronkowski with 4,379 for third most from a tight end in his first 5 years. Only Jimmy Graham with 4,752 and Kellen Winslow 4,513 have more. Now, here's what the context here is for you. How many games has George Kittle missed? That is incredible when you really break that stat down. All he needs is 150 yards, which is 50 in 3 games. And I think that seems pretty easy to get to 1,000. But when you break that stat down in terms of 5 years and how many games, unfortunately, George Kittle has missed, he's incredible, man. Tight end 1. Stop playing with his name. I don't give a damn that Kelsey had 191 the other week. I don't care. He had that after Kittle did what he did these last 2 weeks. It is what it is, man. When you do both, you're better. And he's built different, as the kids say. George Kittle, love you, buddy. And 49er fans, enjoy that you get to watch that. Enjoy. Actually,
Kittle, that stat you just read, Jason, he's probably going to break that record. Because you said Kellen Winslow's number 1, right?
No.
Was Graham number 1?
Jimmy Graham.
So Kellen Winslow's at 45-13 in his first 5 seasons. Kittle's at 44-29. And actually, Winslow did it in the same amount of games as him. You said Jimmy Graham was number 1. We're looking at stats live here on the Sprint Right Option podcast. If you love this content,
this is it.
Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff.
Hit that like on the video right now. That'll help. Go for it.
So he's gonna need about 300 yards to pass Jimmy Graham for most receiving yards by a tight end in his first 5 years, which I guess is doable. He has an 150-yard game. That's very doable. Jimmy Graham did it in 14 more games in those 5 years.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm. Just to give people the idea of how good he is.
Why don't you understand the context?
Mm-hmm.
And look, Spicy Aponte is about to come out.
Oh no.
Here it is.
Okay, let's keep it a little mild though.
It's mild. If there was ever a person in the world that ever told you the 49ers should trade George Kittle because he's injured, anything like that, cut that person out of your life. You don't need them. They're negative. This is all about positive energy going into. We have only a few more days left in 2021. We're going into 2022 all positive energy. There are people that have told you need to trade George Kittle. Don't allow those people to come with you into 2022. Cut them out of your life, please, because they aren't your friends and they aren't people that are knowledgeable. I'm sorry.
You know what that talk gave me vibes of?
What's that?
Have you seen the Josh Donaldson clip on MLB Network where he said, "Hey kids, listen up. If your coach tells you to get on top of the ball, tell him no." Like that gave me big vibes on that.
No, but he didn't say tell him no. He said tell him no. No, man.
No, man.
No, man. I don't want to do that.
Perfect. So okay, let's get the 3 stars.
3 stars. Let's go, man. We're here for hour 10. 3 stars.
I'm gonna give an honorable mention, Jason, and I'm gonna give ourselves a pat on the back. I'm going to give an honorable mention to the entire 49ers team because
What?
that was a team win. That was a complete team win. And Jason, what did we say on Friday? The Niners lose this game if they shoot themselves in the foot, right? Jermichael Hasty, yes, I know we said we got past the fumble. He started the game by a self-inflicted, shooting. He shot the team in the foot, right? Fumbling that kick. So what does the defense do? They instantly pull out the first aid kit. They sew up the wound, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we're fine." That, like, to me, man, it was a complete team win. If there was a mistake, somebody picked them up. If there was something good that happened, they kept it rolling. It was a complete team win. I just wanted to get that point out real quick. I know it's cheating. So my third star, Jason, Jeff Wilson Jr. 21 carries, 110, and a touchdown. This is the game. This is the game we have been waiting for from Jeff Wilson. When he came back, we talked about what he can do for this offense. We saw what he can do for this offense yesterday. Large part of why the offense worked as well as it did is because you got consistent carries from Jeff Wilson Jr. As a pro Jeff Wilson Jr. guy, this is the game I was waiting for. This was the game I was waiting for. We got it, and that earns him my third star.
Oh, my third star goes to Arden Key. And you know why? Because you had more sacks in this game that aren't recorded. Again, if I can quote the prophet, the great Rich Madrid, watch the damn tape. I don't give a damn what the call was. That was an absolute sack. You absolutely ended that drive. Arden Key has been great. And if you can continue to evolve, right, and be that guy, that second guy for Nick Bosa, this team becomes dangerous, more dangerous than they are right now. Because I feel like, wait, I haven't even gotten to my rant about the other NFC teams yet right now. So we can go right after this. But
yeah, our next segment is where the Niners are in the playoffs.
Right. And it becomes a problem when there is another person that you need to worry about with Nick Bosa, because everybody's worried about Nick Bosa. Clearly, they double team him. The only people that are not worried about Nick Bosa are the NFL referees. Boom, you roasted. But at the same time, Arden Key right now, number 3 star. Just continue to do what you're doing. It seems like you're grasping what this defense is trying to be, and you are moving in the proper direction. And this team couldn't be asking for it at a better time.
I was gonna go Arden Key as my second star, but since you took him, I'm gonna go Nick Bosa. I'll go to the other side.
So many positives in this game. We can just pick and flip back and forth.
And I'm gonna say Bosa because he had huge play. 17-10, Falcons first drive of the half. They're on a 3rd and 8. They have a chance to tie the game. They're down 7. Bosa forces the fumble, and I mean that was just a play he never gave up. Chased him down, forces the fumble. The Niners go down and score a touchdown 4 plays later. It's 24-10. This game feels like it's over. So yeah, I'll go Nick Bosa just because he's so good. He really deserves to be on this list every week. And basically because you took Arden Key, I'll take Nick Bosa just to talk about him a little bit.
It's a beautiful thing that we can literally have like 10 people that we can pick from stars, nice. And no one would feel bad, right? Like number 2, Jimmy Garoppolo. How you doing, buddy? And I'm happy for you, man. And right now, what you're doing is great. Operating this offense efficiently, throwing the ball exactly where it needs to be, getting guys the ball in space when it needs to be at the proper spot. That Brandon Ayuk throw was great. That throw over the middle to George Kittle down in the middle of the field. Oh, wait, I didn't know that was in the bag. You're operating this offense. You are doing exactly what this team needs. You are not throwing the ball into harm's way. You are understanding where the coverages are. And I get that it's the Atlanta Falcons, but still, I need to see these things from you right now. I really do. And right now, Jimmy Garoppolo, number 2 star, man. Way to go, buddy. Way to go. You are balling right now, man. I really cannot say anything more about Jimmy Garoppolo at this point, because at this point, a lot of people have taken this narrative on 49ers Twitter, which is super annoying. Derek Carr had an overthrow today, and they were like, oh, well, I was only told that Jimmy Garoppolo overthrows people. Stop it. We stop it. We stop it. Everybody overthrows people. We are 49er fans.
Everybody
and we are 49er podcasters, so we are the ones who have to look at what Jimmy Garoppolo does. So stop it. Don't make it seem like he's like some sacrificial lamb. But right now, he's playing well. That's it. That's all you need to say. And if he plays well, this team is at a different level. I have a feeling our number one.
I do too.
Yeah, I do too.
We talked about how there's about 10 different players, but I'm pretty sure if I go 1, 2, 3, we're both going to say Jaquiski Tart. Yeah, Jason, I'll let you talk because I said my bit on him. Jaquiski Tart's number 1 star.
Shouldn't have taken you this game to understand Tart. Really shouldn't have. And if you have a gripe with the injuries, I get it. But if you don't get what he brings to this team, if you don't get the stability he brings on the back end, imagine being able to stop the run. And shout out to Azeez Al-Shaair. This helps a lot. Imagine being able to stop the run with 2 high safeties and never having to bring a safety down and understanding that on the back end you are covered. Man, will you stop playing with this man's name? And I get it. Everyone's excited about Hufanga. I'm not going to damper that. I really am not. But in the same vein that you guys are excited, I feel like you're undervaluing what Jaquiski Tartt is for this team, and that's a problem. That's not cool, man. It really isn't. So at this time, right now, this game shouldn't have been your wake-up call to Jaquiski Tartt. It really shouldn't have. But if it is, I'm happy. I'm very happy. It's a bitter-sweet time for me right now because it shouldn't have taken this, but people are praising him. At the same time, he is very needed, and it shouldn't have taken this. I feel like I said the same thing 4 different ways, but Jaquiski Tartt, man, he understands coverages. He understands concepts. He knows his job. He's good, solid on the back end. You can't turn the ball over when they don't throw it your way. The chemistry between him and Jimmy Ward is going to be valuable in January when you are in other people's places right now. I understand you want to get Hufanga snaps, but I do not feel good with Talanoa Hufanga in single high in coverage spots. It's not a good spot to be in. Does this team want to develop rookies, or are they trying to make a playoff run? If you are, then Jaquiski Tartt needs to be your guy at strong safety. That's my rant.
Perfectly said, Jason. We're at an hour 16, so we're going to go to 49ers Twitter favorite game show. Where in the world are the 49ers in the playoff race? We all love this game. The San Francisco 49ers, they didn't really move. They're still at the 6th seed, 8-6. Playoffs into today, they would be going down to Tampa Bay against an offense who couldn't get it going against Taysom Hill. So maybe you feel a little better about that matchup right now. A lot can change, though. There are 3 teams tied at 10-4. The Niners could be going anywhere from Green Bay to Arizona to Dallas to Tampa, and maybe even Los Angeles, because I really think it's at a point, Jason, where we're talking about this team going on the road. I don't know. The only way they could have a home game is if they win the division, and I guess, 2 games out, 3 to go. A little tough. You got to be 3 up, or you got to win all 3. So maybe we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But Jason, speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, I think you have some words you want to say about the NFC. So let's hear it. Don Burr.
Don Burr first. But when I say things about week to week, the league changes. Let's see where the chips lay when the 49ers make it. Oh, you're an eternal optimist. Oh, you're wishing on a star. Well, let me wish on this star. DeAndre Hopkins is not coming back until the NFC Championship, if that. Chris Godwin, unfortunately, is out for the season, unfortunately. Leonard Fournette just got injured. Mike Evans is day-to-day, but aren't we all with his hamstring injury? The 49ers pretty much own the Rams at this point. Dallas looked like dog shit while beating the New York Giants this past week. Do you understand about getting into the tournament and now it's all in front of you at this point? You don't have to necessarily be the better team week 1. Guess what? Week 18 and beyond, that team that you are afraid of is not the same team that you are going to be facing. The 49ers played Green Bay to the gun in a game that they blew their own foot off. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They blew their foot off in that game and still had a lead in that game. I don't want to be the guy that gives you false hope. I'm being realistic. The Cardinals are sliding. Cliff Kingsbury is
He
a
exists.
choker.
He exists.
He's a choker. And it's very much documented. Green Bay is who they are. The 49ers know how to deal with them. Tampa is not going to have Chris Godwin. Mike Evans is banged up. Leonard Fournette is banged up. Antonio Brown, maybe he'll come back. Rob Gronkowski is Rob Gronkowski. But this is the point. Make the tournament, and the chips will fall where they lay. And week to week, teams are going to be different right now. And George, thank you for this. Looks like a lot of magical things are lining up for us, because I've been of the mind that 2019 can't be duplicated. The only difference I would say about this, George, is you're absolutely right? Things seem to be lining up for the 49ers. But the 49ers were 13-3 that season, and they were a great team, right? Now, the 49ers may make the playoffs being a 10-7, 11-6 team, and now you need a little bit more. But George is absolutely right. Things are starting to line up. They're starting to line up. And this is why I'm tired of people telling me in week 8, oh, this team's not going to make a run. They can't make a run. They're not built like that. Oh, this will never happen.
Built different.
But now look. Now look at what's happening right now with other teams in the NFC. Whoever the hell comes out of the AFC is their problem. And I'm not saying the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to say that. But if you're not excited about this team based on the way that they're playing right now, and based on the shape of the NFC right now, then you have a problem. You have a really big problem right now as a 49er fan. Either you want them to lose because you want to see whatever it is that's what's going on. And, special teams is Russian roulette. Shouldn't have drafted a punter in the fourth round. Shouldn't have paid a kicker. That doesn't matter. Shouldn't have, whatever. We don't have to get, negative. But the 49ers are in the spot that they should be in. And here's the spot. You are the team right now at the NFC nobody wants to play. Not one team in the NFC is like, I can't wait to play the 49ers. There's no Seattle. Seattle ain't making it. So who cares? That's the boogeyman. They're gone. After that, any other team, you'd be scared about playing the Saints? Would you be scared about playing the Rams at this point? Would you be scared about playing the Cardinals at this point? Would you be scared about playing the Tampa Bay Bucks with this team? Nope. That's the point. The 49ers have a chance to do two things. Be the hottest team going into the playoffs and be the healthiest team. Mosley comes back. Aziz is back. Everybody is in their spot. And you become that team right now that I feel nobody wants to play. That's my rant. 49er fans, it's a long season. It's a long season, man. And that's why you got to get into the dance. That's it. That's it. That's it.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. I'll just say this, Jason. Obviously, each team played varying difficulties of teams yesterday. But based off of what you saw yesterday from Green Bay, from Dallas, from Tampa, from Arizona, I would probably say the Niners looked the best out of all of them. Green Bay, maybe. I know Green Bay, they had the benefit.
Green Bay went to the Horn with a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And they could have lost. They could have lost. If that 2-point conversion goes, we're talking, about a Packers team that has the same record as the Cowboys, the Buccaneers. Like it's a significantly different conversation. The Niners are getting to a point where we might be able to open the conversation about, are they peaking at the right time? And it sure as hell feels like they are. They are starting to play their best football. Hey, thank you very much, Wally. We appreciate that. Let me know where you're flying. Sounds like a fun time. As I said, I understand it's the Falcons, man. But if the Niners play like they did yesterday, not a lot of teams are beating them. Obviously, yes, it'll probably be closer if you put this Niner team against the Buccaneers. It'll be closer if you put this Niner team against the Packers. But what we saw out of the Niners yesterday was such a complete game. Everybody was clicking. Everything was working. The Niners did what they wanted, when they wanted, how they wanted. I don't want to say they're a Super Bowl team, Jason. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl team. But this is a team that can win a couple games in the playoffs. And sometimes winning a couple games in the playoffs, you find yourself in a game that everybody wants to be in. So take that as you may. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl team, but they're a team that can make noise in January if presented the opportunity.
Just literally the only goal the 49ers should have at this point is be that team that nobody wants to play. That's it. That's all it should be. Damn the records. And damn the history. A wild card team has never done this. A wild card team's never done that. Damn all that. The 49ers have a way to win games in hostile territories, in cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
You want to out-physical the 49ers right now? Good luck.
Good luck. Thoughts and prayers.
Good luck. So, I think we've been here for an hour and a half. This has been the most fun. This has been the most fun podcast, Andrew.
This might be our longest podcast we have that we haven't artificially extended. Like this was just us talking.
No, there was a lot to talk about here.
A lot to talk about. And hey, Suze, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, remember those Giants teams? There might be some similarities between those Giants teams and this team. Jason, you have your hand up. I mean, nobody else. Oh, you're just, yeah. I think that's a very fair comparison to make. And now, obviously, Jason, we're not saying on December 20th that the Niners are a Super Bowl team. We're not. But this team can make some noise. This team can absolutely make some noise. And we're feeling good. We're feeling good. And there's a game coming up on Thursday that will be fun to watch. Hopefully the Niners can do it. We'll talk about that a little bit on Wednesday. And don't forget, my friends, Jason post-game reactions. It's going to be a Sprint Red Option episode where we're going to go post-game right after the game. So we'll be here about 8:30 West Coast time. We're feeling good, man. That this is the best we felt all season. It was great. Niners road is better this season, so wild card team might not affect them. So last thing I want to get out, Jason, I don't really need any opinions on this. This is just me calling back an old meme we used to talk about. I think the 49ers made the right decision going Jimmy Garoppolo over Nick Mullins. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. And
let's go Niners.
Enjoy the win.
Wolves 0-0 Chelsea. They got that point, baby.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.